see them even be remotely being able to do anything like that is if they go ahead and move him over to MSNBC and give him like an opinion show.
That
Like
is
that's it.
brilliant. Now,
Yeah.
see, I hadn't thought about that.
I think that's the only way that that'll work out. But as far as actually reading the news every day, nobody's gonna.
No,
That's not gonna
and
happen.
to your previous point about e-news, I mean, would he go there and do that? One doesn't know what they'll do until they're faced with a particular set of circumstances. But that's a
Yeah.
pretty good idea. We may actually have to make that suggestion to NBC. Um, so you got NBC. So you got the I don't want to say minor, but on the bottom of the importance of this thing, you have Brian Williams. You got NBC in the middle, and then I got into thinking. I mean, you got the country, right? I mean, look at, I mean, just what's gone on in this country. We've gotten to a point where major politicians, others, can lie and not lose their jobs or still be where they are. And ironically, Bill and Hillary are the two best examples that I can think of in relative recent history. I mean, you look at well, just shoot. I mean, not only the Monica thing and what he did in the Oval Office and all the previous affairs and whatever have you, but dude, every time, including Monica, came out of it like a phoenix flying out of a nuclear explosion, right?
Yeah.
And he could probably, and this shows a sorry state of this country. And I'm not talking politically. I disagreed with him politically. I thought he was a very effective president once he got his ass handed to him by the Republican resolution, but revolution. But he got his ass handed to him there, and he was smart enough, unlike Barack Obama, to move to the center and work with Newt Gingrich. So you have Bill as a perfect example, and then you have Hillary, as I said. You have Hillary lying about sniper fire. She got a little bit of grief. But now, on the left, we might as well not even have primaries. It's her turn to be ordained as queen finally, because she got screwed in 2008 by the usurper from the streets of Chicago. So Hillary on top of the political world on the left, and she's been caught lying. So on the grander scale of the Williams thing, Housem is back. Michael, I'm just about finished with this rant. But on the grander scale, you have, where is this country today when it accepts that crap from people in important positions, politicians, if they were to hang on to Williams, and you're good to go. Do the standard apology, fill in the blank apology, and we'll let you go. So, Michael, welcome back, dude. But I don't know if you heard much of what I was talking about. But this thing is a lot larger than Brian Williams. It will reflect on NBC, what they do, and I think to a greater extent on where's this country right now in terms of this kind of stuff. So, what you and I talked about this a lot at the end of last week. What's your kind of general take on the recent developments, if you will?
You know what, man? I'm sorry. I'm so not paying attention to it because I'm going through and reading all the various different comments and speeches on the dresses that various stars wore last night at the Grammys.
Well, see, and we're going to have to talk about the Grammys later on because, believe it or not, I watched part of it. But I mean, you did see the fact that he supposedly, wink, wink, has now taken himself off the air, right?
Well, obviously, my point about the Grammys is not because I give a crap about the Grammys. It's
Sure.
because your lead was what does this say about the country, and the culture, and that's exactly what the country and the culture. The country and the culture is far more concerned with, oh my God, Kanye went up on stage again,
Sure.
than whether or not people tell the truth. And you know, here's the thing. I was just reading earlier today Mark Stein's comments about this, and the reality is that anybody that still watches the nightly news with Brian Williams,
Hmm.
they're in part there because he's got 1950s era movie star looks, and he is able to extremely effectively read a teleprompter. I mean,
That's it. These guys are
that
news
is
readers.
the days of actually getting real news for, as far as the culture goes, getting real news from the nightly news, there is an extremely small percentage of the population for it.
Well, not only
Um,
that, but the whole idea of being a true journalist, an investigative journalist, which those used to be the folks that filled the anchor chairs.
right.
Those days are gone. And I was kind of musing before you came on about Williams' intent and serial lying for years. And I think, with all we've heard, it's still the tip of the iceberg. But does he feel like, is it penis envy, or is it of those guys from the days gone by? Is it, I'm just not quite able to really fill the shoes? I'm a hollow suit. So I got to make crap up to embellish myself to make me sound somewhat like them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we never will know why.
Um, no, it's interesting that again, referring to Mark Stein, he was talking about how years ago he was in Iraq and he was driving his car. And he was like, what, I can totally understand had you be like, what, when I got out of the car and got gas, was that in Fallujah or was that in, whatever? But he goes, it would be very, very difficult for me to be unable to differentiate between my car getting shot at and my car not getting shot at.
Right.
Did I stop
or
at the
when you went into
Stuckey's?
Go ahead.
Did I stop at the Stuckey's in Minnesota or was it the Stuckey's in Nebraska when I bought that bag of carameled popcorn? I don't remember. But while I was driving en route to Stuckey's, an RPG fire attacked me in my station wagon. That would be something that you would be less likely,
Exactly.
to blur.
Right, and the same thing, with your Stuckey's thing. So Hillary's at Stuckey's, right? So if Hillary, and she doesn't remember which Stuckey's she was filling up her car, at which she was filling up her car, she probably would remember if she left her car to go in to pay, whether or not she had to duck sniper fire, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Here's, this would be interesting. I wonder what the viewership of the nightly news has been since this story broke.
That will be interesting because dude was number one on major network news, so we'll have to say that or see that.
Now, here's what my prediction would be. Obviously, I have no idea what the details are. My prediction would be that the numbers are actually higher now, but a year from now they'll be dramatically, dramatically less.
I think he's got to be gone, and that's on NBC. And we talked about that a lot.
Yes.
So we'll see. By the way, speaking of this, because we've got 7 minutes or so left, because I want to not be. We got a packed show. Told them about the guest. We got a lot of stuff to talk about later, but kind of closing the loop in the next 6-7 minutes on this story, and this is directly related, although I don't know that it was intended to be. But did you see anything about this Barack Obama interview with Ezra Klein?
No, I didn't even know about it.
It's gonna floor you that he's being honest as he's being, right? So Ezra Klein, right? You know who he is, a late wonderkid of WAPO, left in a snit. I don't know. They wouldn't give him his own whatever, and so he started Vox. So,
yes, of course.
Far-reaching interview with Obama. I mean, far-reaching. I mean, if you just read part one online, you go to sleep twice before you get to the end of that. But here's the relevant part in terms of what I want to talk about. So Ezra Klein asks him, or first tells him, you are according to poll after poll, you're the most polarizing president in history. So after he says, well, there were others, and, I think we pretty polarized during the Civil War, as if to compare what he's got going on with Civil War.
Right.
But listen to this part, dude. This is actually breathtaking if you really think about it. So he's saying a lot of it, right, the polarization, has to do with the fact that, the balkanization of the media means that we just don't have, and this is the part that matters. Listen to this. Means that we just don't have a common place where we get common facts and a common worldview the way we did 20, 30 years ago. Let me read that again, people. He's blaming polarization on the fact that everybody doesn't go to a common place where we all get common facts and a common worldview. And he actually says that the way we did 20, 30 years ago. I mean, that is just profound in its admission. Plus, this guy is a constitutional lawyer Part of which I think he should know just a little bit about the First Amendment and the freedom of the press and freedom of speech.
Well, furthermore, it's the first thing, frankly, Mike, about this that strikes me is that it's completely non-factual. I mean, I was alive 20, 30 years ago.
Oh, exactly non-factual. Yes.
And I remember that there were people that have differing opinions and there were different news outlets. I mean, I even remember growing up in San Diego. There was a morning paper and an afternoon paper. The morning paper was conservative. The afternoon paper was liberal. And that's in San Diego.
Dude, every city that had two newspapers in the country was exactly like that. Exactly.
Well, there's also obviously in Orange County, the Orange County Register. You've got the Orange County Register and the LA Times. The editorial perspective of the LA Times is lefty. The editorial perspective of the Orange County Register is libertarian. You've got Washington Post and Washington Times. I mean, that's and those two newspapers have been fighting it out. I don't know
forever.
250 years.
Yeah, and I know we're running out of time, but what the profound part is not that this is true, but this is what he thinks should be true. Everybody goes to the same place, same facts, develops the same worldview. Listen, I'm not saying he's a communist, he's not, but what he's describing, A, is what he wants, and B, it's exactly what you would have seen in the USSR.
It's, you know what, Mike, here's the deal. It's really a shame that you're hearing things that I would prefer you not, or you're hearing a perspective that I prefer you would not. That's what he's saying.
And he said elsewhere in the interview that he thinks there should be congressional action to take care of stuff like this. Okay,
absolutely.
And here's
or maybe a blue ribbon commission.
Exactly, and here's where he's really going. He doesn't believe that that there didn't used to be. He wants there to be one, but he doesn't believe that there was. But here's how he finishes this part. And he says, and I'm not the first to observe this, but you've got the Fox News Rush Limbaugh folks, and then you've got the MSNBC folks, and they always throw the goofball MSNBC in there to try to make it as if they're criticizing both sides. He can't stand it, as the left can't stand it, that Rush Limbaugh, Fox News, now others challenged the old major networks that they controlled.
Right.
That's in it in a nutshell. I was profoundly surprised that he was at least honest about it, that's what he wishes was going on, man.
Oh, he just sits around and thinks, imagine if all of the opinion and all of the news was delivered via Lawrence O'Donnell and Rachel Maddow. And
filtered through him and Pfeiffer, the White House, because he's so much smarter than us, Michael. We can't even comprehend how smart he is. And he can't. He's tried, bless his heart. He cannot. He's tried so hard, but it is physically and mentally impossible for him to bring himself down to our level, right? And
right.
And he feels sorry for us because he knows we have no hope of getting up to his.
Right.
So he has to be able to think for us, to have media that sends us to a common place. We get common facts and have a common worldview, and then we'll never be profound because there's him, but. So that's related to the Williams thing. Okay, we're under 2 minutes, but this thing, we talked about Thursday, Friday. This thing was not over then. Now right. Williams is taking himself off the air for a few days, but I don't see how NBC can do anything else but fire this guy before this is over with. If not, then it becomes the whole of MSNBC, right? MSNBC engulfs NBC, if you will.
Right, oh yeah, absolutely.
The young eating the old. All right. Dude. Well, I'm glad you're back. All right, so we got Siegel on at the bottom.
Yeah, yep, we do, and that's going to be great. So, folks, thanks for listening. This is how much time do we have left? We got 2 seconds.
We're coming up on a minute.
Oh, okay, so we have a little bit of time. Yeah, Siegel's great. Bob Siegel, he has a radio show in San Diego that he does. He writes for Community Digital News in addition to other places, and he just finished a book that we're going to talk about, which is going to be great.
I read about that book on Amazon. I'm interested to hear that.
Yep, what he has to say, right.
Right. Going to be a good one.
All right. By the way, man, the pictures of your condo, the lake below it, gorgeous.
Yeah.
I need to tell you that online here.
I appreciate it. Although this weekend was not fun down there. But anyway, we'll talk about it. All right.
Okay, good. Well, folks, we will be right back. Thanks for listening. This is Michael Hausum for The Right Mics and Mike Miller. Hold on right to the news. We'll be right back.